Question. Can you ever imagine a life without any grocery stores in it? I mean, like zero. Ugh, that would be kind of tough. Yeah, it would be. But today, we're going to talk about some clever strategies that may keep us in the grocery store much longer than we intended or planned to. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money More with Jan channel. As always, hope everyone is doing well. I hope that my audio is coming in okay. Had a little problem earlier. That's why I'm redoing it. All right. One of the things, look, they're a business and they're there to make a profit. It's not a charity, right? Grocery stores are a business. And I get it. We get it. Okay. But some of these strategies I found interesting. For instance, number one, spraying mist on produce to make them look fresher as well as heavier. Now, I got it about the fresher part. I got that. But did you ever think it would make some form of produce look heavier? Hmm. I guess a trick on the eyes there. Interesting. All right. Okay, I get it now. Next, using oversized carts that actually make a person want to buy more. Let's think about it. The cart is really big, and in real life, you did buy a sizable amount and you want to keep within your budget in many instances. But because the cart is so big, you look down and it looks like, I only picked up a measly bunch of groceries. And then the temptation, excuse me, is greater to make more purchases. Again, this is a business, it's a profit, it is not a charity, and you see where I'm going with this. No judgment, just saying strategy. Next, seasonal foods may be placed in the front to tempt one into impulse shopping. How many times might you recall, let's say near Thanksgiving, okay? And maybe you planned on baking a pumpkin pie, okay? And all of a sudden you're near the checkout before you leave, but you see a freshly made one already done up, and you say to yourself, well, why should I go through all that trouble baking a pie from scratch? I could just buy this one. I'm not saying it wouldn't pay to make a pie from scratch, but notice the strategy, making one enticed to pick up that ready-made pie. I'm just using that as an example. And it doesn't have to be for Thanksgiving. It could be for any seasonal occasion. But putting it there in the front right before you leave makes one scratch their head and go, I wouldn't mind picking up an extra apple or pumpkin pie. For example, I'm just saying. All right, next. Shelving location. Of course, the bird clock. I'm not wearing my headset, so you might hear it a little better. I'm not wearing my headset because for some reason I had a problem with it today. So, all right, hopefully you hear me okay. Shelving grocery items that are more expensive at eye level. Someone smart said, and it wasn't me. I read this somewhere. I don't remember the person's name. Eye level is buy level, B-U-Y. Eye level is buy level. That makes a ton of sense. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there are a couple of things else that I found in my research. Some stuff, well, understandable. Some stuff, I'm not happy about this one. And you may not be too. Some places make it actually more difficult to do your price comparing. That's not cool. That is not cool. I mean, a lot of us are trying so hard these days to, shave a little bit off of our grocery bill because grocery prices are very high in many places. Yeah, I hear they're supposedly changing that, supposedly. But still, at any given time, no matter what the economy, it should never be difficult for a person going into an establishment to do price comparing. I think that it's just innately wrong. in my honest, innately wrong. All right, you want to keep your produce looking shinier? That's not a big deal in my mind's eye. But to make it difficult for the buyer to price compare, that to me, that is not cool. That's just my opinion. How do you feel about that? Let me know. Let us know in the comment section below. All right. Um, so I really didn't like that one at all. Also, you know that beautiful section that we call the bakery section or the fresh bake section or whatever you want to call it. Things smell mighty good around that area, don't they? And yes, everybody thinks there's this big magical factory type room in the back and things are being baked from scratch. Not necessarily true. A lot of the stuff may be baked quickly on a premises, but it's not really from scratch. It's from many times mixes. Or the pies come in frozen and they are baked up, and you're going to smell all those beautiful smells of freshly baked items. I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but the imagination could run wild thinking, wow, this magical thing coming from scratch. I don't care. They're there to make a profit. If you're getting good food out of it, great. If you're getting a great price out of it, even better. In my opinion, it's not realistic to think that everything is coming from scratch, like the way you would make something from scratch in your home kitchen. I'm just saying. All right. Then there are rumors. I don't know how true it is, and I can't verify it, but to me, this would be rather deceptive. Okay. Now, packages of beef or other meats, they do have a fair amount of water in them, whether we want to accept that or not. But let's think, wouldn't that be considered as part of the weight of the item? So look carefully, see where the real deal is, and so on and so forth. A lot of the responsibility does rest upon us. We are going to be enticed, and I am not here saying there's anything wrong with enticing a sale. That's what sales are about. This is not a charity. Okay, this is a for-profit business. And honestly, I can't imagine life without grocery stores. I just can't. However, one of the things, this brings me back to online shopping at home. One thing about online shopping at home, you can easily do price comparisons, okay? You don't need the smells of the fresh bakery section. You know what they are. So sometimes it's actually, in my honest, maybe a better thought certain times when you're on a certain budget to work with an online purchase. Think about that for a second. It has its pros, it has its cons, and it's all up to the individual and their situation. I can't blanketly suggest everyone do that, everyone do this, but I do know this. It's much easier to price compare, tap, 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 and tap. Because if some stores are going to make it physically difficult for people to price compare, that is to me outrageous. That's awful. It's just not right. In my mind's eye, it is just not the right thing to do. Another thing, clever trick. A lot of stores, of course, make it very simple for you to get in there, but make it really hard for you to get out of there because they want to make sure that you cover every part of the store. And that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Did you ever notice that? It's so simple to get in there, get in 1, 2, 3. But suppose you want to just buy some loss leader stuff and leave, and you're not interested in walking the entire store. Well, doesn't matter because the way some stores are laid out, you still have to bypass some certain areas. I'm not saying you don't get any extra good exercise out of it. All right. That's good. But it's just a way to sort of force the customer, to look at more stuff. I get that. Did it ever happen to you, or did you ever say to yourself the following? But I only plan to pick up a loaf of bread and some ice cream and milk. And then all of a sudden you're walking out this huge cart of stuff and you clearly overspent. How many times has that happened to you? And that's like, it goes to show the manipulative tactics, all right? Working on the vulnerability of some shoppers with their clever strategies that keep us grocery shopping much longer than planned, as the title tells us. So anyway, it's up to you. I love that line. Eye level is buy level. Wow. Wow. That might explain why a lot of people don't mind spending a ton of money on the most expensive jarred sauce. I kind of sort of laugh. And then they bypass the grocery store brand, which is like a fraction of the cost. These days, with everybody whining, crying, and complaining about grocery prices, I still don't understand some choices people make. And I get really, really into it in a future upcoming show. Okay, unless you heard it already, but I produced it yesterday. Thinking that's let's see, yesterday, Wednesday to Wednesday. So it should go on next Wednesday, the show I'm referring to. You should have heard it probably by the time this one airs. It is crazy the things that human nature allows human nature to do, as far as like rationalizing and saying other crazy stuff and blaming things, the blame game. In fact, that's the name of the video. I think it's called The Blame Game. And then it goes on with other words. But please check that out if you have not done so already. All right, everybody. I'm sure there are a lot more strategies that go on. If you know of any, let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure there are more. Let us all know in the comment section below, because we could all be vulnerable at some point. We have to stay strong. And if our budget has our budget and we want to stick to our budget, stick to it. Now, some people argue, well, yeah, allow a little bit of wiggle room in the budget, like about $5 worth if you see a happenstance sale while you're in store. Okay, while you're in store, whatever number, I would work with $5. Everybody's budget is different, everybody's lifestyle is different. A little wiggle room, but that doesn't mean you always have to use the wiggle room, because I kind of like putting that $5 back in the category. All right, everybody, have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your lovely family. Thank you.